too many shakers, and then you don't have any team worker, what's going to happen? 如果你这个团队全都是鞭策者，都说你要做这个，你要做，你要赶紧干什么，然后没有任何的一个凝聚者，会有什么感觉？ High pressure. People will get burnt out, or there'll be internal fights. No, when people shout at you to get certain things, sometimes you just do it. But when it's overly done, you will also want to push back. Right? You want to shout back. So it becomes a very highly tense, highly conflicting situation. So if you have enough some of these team workers, these are people who will kind of act as a buffer. They will be the ones to say, okay, let's do this. After we do this, everything will be fine. And they're the people who say the nice things. So that works well in a team setting. 这些会是我们团队里面我们说的一些润滑剂啊，就是在冲突里面他们会做一些缓冲。Okay, those are the good things. The downside of too many team workers, or downside of team worker, is that these are people who may be indecisive. Why are they indecisive? Because they fear that if they do something, it may offend other people. It may hurt other people. So they are afraid of conflict. They are afraid to make tough decisions. And sometimes, in order to make sure that everybody is happy, they forget about what is the objective. So coming back to the goal, I mean the session is talking about goals. These are people who are nice to be with, nice to have, but sometimes may not be very much focused on what is the goal we need to achieve, especially if the goal is a tough goal. Right? So it's a balance of different types of people. Then the third one is what we call a resource investigator for social. The symbol is a telephone. These are people who are very extroverted, 非常外向, right? Who will go around meeting people, finding new resources, and usually external people. External doesn't mean outside of a company, but could be outside of their team. Right? So they'll like to look for external resources, whether it's resources in terms of facts and figures, whether it's resources in terms of people. They generally are going to be the social, to talk to different people, know a lot of friends, get a lot of resources. And because they know a lot of friends and know a lot of resources, 因为他那什么什么四海之类都能够广交朋友，很多那个什么人脉很多，信息很多，资料很多。Because of that, they are also able to steal other people's ideas. They talk to people, they have one idea. I talk to some other people, they have some other idea. I put two ideas together, it comes a better idea. Right? So they may not have a lot of ideas themselves, but they know how to pick different ideas from different people and make it a better idea. Right? So these are the resource investigators. Now the good thing is, these are people who will be able to find the external resources for you. That's a good thing. 他们会找寻一些就是外在的一些资源，没想到他能找到这些资源。That's a good thing. What do you think will be the downside of such people in the team? What would be the downside of this kind of person? They are external, they talk to a lot of people, they're always moving around, they're always very reactive, very high energy, getting a lot of friends, a lot of resources. What could be the downside? Action. Well, it's not about no action, it's about they are so focused on the outside, they sometimes forget about what is their job. Right? 就什么事都做，就正事没做。Right? What they're supposed to do, they're not doing this a lot of other things. So they could be very much what they call scattered in their focus. They're not very focused on one thing. It's good not to overly focus, but these are the guys who really go all around. So it may not be related to their job, right? So they're enjoying themselves. The other thing also is that they are easily bored. These are people who need to have different kinds of stimulus. They can be easily bored. They need help. They either need external help or they need to be consciously aware of time management. 他们在时间管理方面，要么就是要借助外力，要么就是要有这种什么自我节制的一个认知。Because these are people who, if they want to book something and then they have an email, they will go and handle the email. This email is communicative, right? And then after midway through handling that email, when they got a WeChat, they will skip and go to WeChat. right? And then there's the next WeChat to go to the next WeChat. So they tend to get distracted by other people very easily. So unless they consciously tell themselves, okay, no WeChat, no email, turn off the WeChat, turn off the email, just do the work. Right? Unless they do that, otherwise they tend to be carried away by other people. So that's the resource investigator. And in terms of thinking roles, again, 3 parts. We're looking at the first one is called a plant. I'll explain why is it called a plant as well. And the symbol is that of a light bulb. Light over here. 这是这个电灯泡的一个符号. Right? Why is it called a plant? The story is that in most teams, this came from the UK, England, right? The UK, England is not one country that has a lot of creative people. I mean, it does, but it's not very vibrant. Right? There are a lot of inventions that came out from UK, but it's not something that's very vibrant. So what they're thinking of is sometimes what the team really lacks is new ideas. So if you have a team, you may want to think about, do you need to get this kind of people from somewhere and then plant them into your team? And it's the word plant is a very British kind of English kind of expression. Right? 这 plant 在英式的英文不是美式英文，英式英文的意思就是安插在这个团队里，安插的意思。So you plant this kind of person into your team. So that's the key gist of it. So these are people with ideas. These are people with original ideas. The resource investigator get ideas from other people. These are the people who's got their own original ideas. So their thinking is very quick, and they tend to jump around in the thinking. 他们那个思维是跳跃式的思维, right? So they see things from a different point of view. 他看事的角度跟普通人是不一样的。See from a different point of view. If you give them complex problems, they probably can solve them very quickly because they see things from a different point of view, right? If you give them simple problems, they probably could not solve it because they see things from a different point of view, right? So these are people who will have different ideas and kind of behave a little bit differently from everybody else. If they are purely just a planner or purely a thinking style person, they tend to be introverted. They're not very expressive, and because they are what we call lateral thinkers. 它是跳跃式思维，而且是那个横向思维。So if they tend to jump around in their thoughts a lot, it makes it difficult for them to communicate their ideas with other people, right? Because what they're saying, people don't understand. They keep jumping from point to point, right? And everybody else is like, well, what are they trying to talk about? Right? And they're usually not very expressive as well. That's the downside. At times, sometimes they also fall in love with their own ideas. 有些时候会爱上自己的点子，这点子有它的亮点，但是需要改进。但他太喜欢自己的点子，我不愿意去改进。Okay, so that's a plan. Then we also have the specialist, 专业师. So specialist, as the name mentioned. Right, these are the kinds of person who really digs down and focus on one key area. Right, within that area, they really know a lot about the area. 在某个领域，他是博学多闻. So these are people who knows a lot about that certain area. And if you need help in the details, in what you need to know about that certain aspects, you go to that person who will tell you everything. They tell you how it works and in what situation it will not work and so on. So that's a good thing. The bad thing, however, is that outside of that area, they may not know anything. Or they may not even care. Right? They're focused on only what they're doing. 他们只在乎他自己专的那些那个地盘，他不去在乎其他外面的一些因素。They may actually lack what is called overall thinking or business level thinking. 他们有那个全局观。They're lacking in big picture thinking. What is the ultimate objective for the company? So the short story is, once upon a time there was a global company, very big, very good, very strong. This global company was #1 in the business area for a consecutive 17 years. 这家 这家跨国企业、全球企业，它在它的领域，连续17年排行第一 ，right? And then within 7 years, it closed, it sold to someone else. 就是连续17年排行第一，然后后面7年就消失掉。Which company is that? 就全球很牛，然后连续排行第一位，然后再往后面，在7年内就消失掉。诺基亚 ，no, this is Nokia. We don't even need to mention, oh, this is a phone company, right? We just say this is the general traits of the company. 17 years, number one in the world, and then after 7 years later, it's gone, right? So there's Nokia. So the short story of how Nokia failed. I mean, there are many different stories, and it's very complex. But one of the story is that when we have all this touchscreen phone, 这个平板电话, right? The sales and marketing team in Nokia told the R&D that can we actually have more touchscreen phones? Can we research and develop more touchscreen phones, because this is what is needed in the market? And what the R&D people feedback was, the job of sales and marketing is to sell the phones. The job of R&D is to research the best OS, the best operating systems in phones, which at that moment is the Symbian system. Right? So that's R&D's job. We research the best system. Right? If you can't sell the phones, that is your problem. Right? It's got nothing to do with us, because we are doing the best what we can do. Right? This is a way of being overly specialized, that you forget about. There is actually this thing called customer demand. Whatever you are specializing has got to link to a bigger picture. Right? But that's just one part of the story. But that part of the story also contributes as to why is it that for a span of 7 years, why couldn't Nokia come up with a touchscreen phone? That's part of it. Right? 7 years is a long time for phone companies. So this is a good and bad. People will know everything, but people who are too narrowly focused, and they forget about the bigger picture. Right. So and the last one is what we call a monetary evaluator. The symbol is an eye. 省一别，它那个什么符号是一个眼睛。These are people who analyze everything. These are people who want to avoid risk, want to mitigate risk. They want to see things from different views, different points of views, different angles. 要去这个分析事情要各个方面全局去分析。This is a monetary evaluator. So if you are, let's say you're a resource investigator, you've got a lot of ideas, you are very hyped up, you're very high, very energetic, right? You go to a monetary evaluator and you tell this monetary evaluator that, no, I got this great idea. Now let's do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guess what the monetary evaluator, guess what is this feedback from this person? 如果你是那个外交家，你有一个很好的点子，你跟那个省议员去分享，说我有这个很好的点子，我要这么来做。我们那个省议员会给怎么样的一个反馈 Let's see. Okay, they'll generally say, this is a good idea. The good things are, the good points are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But at the same time, these are the weaknesses. The weaknesses are this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And then if you will ask this monetary evaluator, so what should I do? When 你再问这个什么省议员，那我下一步该怎么做呢 ？Guess what will be the reply? 省议员怎么回？ Why don't you think about it again? 要不你再继续考虑。Right? So this is people will want to make sure that before we do anything, let's plan, let's analyze, let's make sure that it is perfect. Then we do something. Right? 这我们说省议员叫什么？先谋而后动。Sometimes they overly do the planning and analyzing that it may be too late to take an action. If it's something that you need quick action, if it's something that you need to have decisive action, maybe not this person, but if it's something that you need to have a good amount of analysis, risk management, good thinking of all around, then you probably need some of these people in your team. So, coming back to what Tim mentioned about long-term and short-term goals. We've got long-term goals and short-term goals. Typically, this is what happens. Normally, what are some of the long-term and short-term goals? Let's focus on short-term goals. What would be some of the short-term goals that a company can have? 通常企业会有哪些短期的一些目标？ Sales figures, sales targets, right? Top line or bottom line? 是量还是要 margin? Right? It depends on different companies. Some companies just say, I want volume. I really want to sell a lot. It manages everything by top line, how much sales you can generate. Some will actually go for margin. Some actually go for both. Right? But with volume as a key priority. So we want to sell a lot of things. So for short-term goals, usually the monetary evaluator is not going to say a lot of things because you want the action quickly. So the short-term goals usually are driven by shippers and sometimes implementers. These are action-oriented people. How much sales we need? We just push the sale. We just push the sale. Now there are different kinds of sales as well. We'll just take a scenario. 有不同的一些销售模式，就拿其中一个情景。Let's assuming that you are selling to distributors. 我们就假设啊，我们的销售是针对经销商。Just that. Regardless if you know anything about distributors, basically you sell to distributors, distributors sell to end customers. 我们卖给经销商，经销商卖给这个主管啊，就是大致上这样子一个概念。If you want to achieve short-term goals, what do? You will push as much volume as possible to the distributors. Short term, we will get very nice figures. We get a lot of sales. The distributors are taking a lot of products, right? Now, what will happen to the long term? 短期内就是拼命就是啊，经销商来压货，我给这货推给你，哎呀，我那个报表特别好看。What will happen 3 years later if you keep on doing this, not just for 1 year, you do this continuously for 3 years? What will happen? Well, the thing is, you don't know if the distributors are able to sell that much amount. Right? The technical word is called sell in and sell out. Sell in means how much you sell to distributors. Sell out means how much the distributors actually sell out to the outside world and customers. You don't know, right? So the long term is that, okay, can the distributors take so much products? If we really want to grow sales that way, should we actually have more distributors in more regions? 我们是不是应该在更多区域有更多的这个经销商，才能够有这样子一个容量 right? Which will mean more work because we need to do more marketing, right? So this is what we call balancing the short term and the long term. The short term, just look at the short term numbers. So there's a lot of action, not a lot of thinking, just push. Right? We don't think about what is the consequences. 在短期的时候，有时候没有，有时候是叫不计后果。As long as we got good numbers, I don't care. I mean, if this is next year's problem, that's next year. As long as we can live for this year, we live for this year. 就今年如果活不了，就不会有明年。Right? If you don't survive this year, we won't live to see tomorrow. So just focus on this year, right? So that is the short-term kind of thinking that's very action-oriented. The long-term thinking is going to think about, okay, if we do this now, what's going to be the impact next year? What's going to be the impact 2 years later? What do we need to do to balance both things? Right? So on the one hand, we cannot just say, oh, we just think about what happens 3 to 5 years later, because you may not survive through 3 to 5 years. 从某个角度，我们不能只是看到3、5年后我们会怎么样，因为我们要就是当下要这个柴米油盐嘛，要吃饭。We need to survive today. So there needs to be a balance between the long term and the short term, and how we manage different risks. So these are various notes which I have just mentioned, and we'll be sending this via WeChat to you when we talk about all those things. So this is just to have an idea of, if you want to achieve a certain goal, sometimes we need to have some people who are very much planning, very much thinking. Sometimes we need people who are able to take the right action. Sometimes we need people to coordinate internally. Anyone handle sales here? 这边有没有人就是负责销售人员的？ Okay, if you're handling sales, now, what is the difference between a top sales and a good sales? 一个好的销售跟一个卓越的销售有什么区别？ What is good sales and great sales? Any difference? They're both good. So what are the key differences? Now, just a time concern, just to give you an idea. In terms of selling skills, 如果你要说这个销售的技巧 in terms of selling skills, the good sales and the great sales has got about the same level of selling skills. 技能差不多是一样的，没有太大区别。The key difference is that the good sales is able to sell externally. The good sales can handle external customers. The great sales can handle external customers and handle internal departments as well. 就好的销售，他能搞定外国的客户；卓越的销售，他既能够搞定外部的客户，也能搞定内部的关系。You need to sort out different relationships inside, internally, and do different coordination. That is, great sales. You need to do all kinds of coordination internally because you need to gather your team internally before you can see your customer externally or fulfill the needs of customers externally. Right? So that's the thing about great sales. And sometimes it's hard to be a great salesperson by yourself. And sometimes you may actually think about how to make the sales team become a team. 一般我们做销售都是什么各自为政。Normally sales is like you just do your own thing, right? You are in charge of your own sales KPI or sales targets, and that's it. But sometimes if you're looking at a bigger picture, maybe the sales team can really become a team because some of us are better in getting new customers, doing cold calls, doing cold visits, but not very good in following through. Right? Some of us are very good internally, we can gather all kinds of resources, but not very good in external customers and so on. So it may be at certain points of time, the sales team can be a team to achieve the sales goals. Right? It really depends on how you arrange things about it. Right? So to set the goals, if you really want to make the team come together in one place, there are certain things to do. Part of the goal setting is to deal with how do you then make change. 我们有时候要设定目标，跟我们要就是做一些改革，有些关联。Okay, now normally, as people, do we like to change or do we hate changing? 我们是喜欢改变还是讨厌改变？ Hey, normally people don't like to change. Normally, right? Again, it really depends. If you are a resource investigator, you like change. 如果你是那个外交家，一定要改变，不改变太无聊了，太 boring. Right? So it really depends. But generally, the rest of us, we don't really like change. Right? Or better still, we may like change, but only if we are the ones that initiate change. 我们可能喜欢改变，但这个前提是由我们自己来发动这个改变，而不是被改变。Right? We like to make the change, but we don't like to be changed by other people. Right? So this could be the main key difference. So if you want to make people to change, and part of a goal setting, part of the challenging goal is to make people change, then you're going to think about 7 things. How do you then create the sense of urgency and make people change? So some research on change. Harvard study found that 70% of change efforts fail. And there's another company called Leadership IQ, and they found that the reason that CEOs get fired is because they can't change the team. Not they can't change, but they cannot effect the change. And as a result, they get fired. So that is how serious change can be. So if you want to make people change, if you want to get a person go from this point to this point, from point A to point B, what do you think needs to happen first? 如果你要让一个人就是从这个当下的这个状态变成一个未来就是理想中的状态，我们第一步需要做的是什么 ？Sorry, pain. What kind of pain? In Chinese word it's called set fire, 煽风点。Why you set a fire is because you're gonna let this person know that wherever you are, it's on fire. You can't stay there, right? This building is going to collapse soon. It's on fire. You need to change. If not, you'll die, right? You'll be burned to death. So that is the first thing. So people need to have a very strong reason why they need to change. So that's step one. One of the world's most dangerous jobs in the world is to actually work on an oil rig in the sea. 有些人我们说世界上最危险的一些行业之一，一个是在那个海上的钻油台工作。Why is it dangerous? Because you are in the middle of nowhere. It's all sea around you. You're in the middle of nowhere. The platform is about about 10, 15 stories above the sea. 所以那个钻油台的台面离海面有10几层楼高。Right? So if you want to jump down, it's actually quite dangerous. So if that oil rig catches fire, 如果那个钻油台着火 it's a very dangerous situation. You have the sea, you have you need to jump. It's a high point to jump, and then you got fire, right? Normally, people who work in an oil rig are brave, and no matter what happens, you don't jump. 如果在钻油台那个工作啊，这个员工都会说，不管发生什么事情，你都不要挣扎，因为10几层楼高，跳下去也是死。Okay, so if you jump, there's a high risk of dying as well. So usually if there's a fire, you find a place that is relatively safer, and then you wait for people to rescue you. So that is usual protocol. 就是找一个地方比较安全的，稍微安全一点等待救援。这是他们的一个定义。那 and there was this really an oil rig fire, right? And then this worker that's facing the fire, and basically there's nowhere to run except to jump. Right? The fire is coming towards him, and then behind him is the sea. In a way, he can wait for people to rescue him, but then you don't know. 真有这样子一次的一个火灾，然后这个钻油台就着火，就这么一个工人嘛，就前面是大火，往自己扑过来，后面嘛是大海，而且要跳十几层楼。然后呢，他的那个什么，你要说等待救援，救援什么时候能到不知道。When can you get help and be rescued? You don't know. So what did he do? 他做什么呢 He jumped, and he jumped, and then he survived. He survived the jump, and he's got a few broken bones, and 有些骨折骨裂，but he still survived. So after that, people would ask him, "Why did you jump? You're not supposed to jump. You're supposed to wait for help. So why did you jump?" And then the worker said, "Well, if I jump, I have around 10% of chances of surviving. 如果我跳的话，我叫九死一生。Right? But if I don't jump, I will die for sure. 如果我不跳的话，我叫必死无疑。Right? So it's just I don't know. Change is a hard thing, but if this is a really urgent scenario, it makes people want to change. Now, going back to the different, I'm going to refer back to the different roles. Out of all these 9 roles, who do you think will be the hardest to convince to change? 这边有不同的一些角色啊，大家觉得这9个角色谁要让他那个做改变是最难的 ？Shaper? Any other? Why Shaper? 为什么呢？ They're very confident. They only want to follow others. Okay, so stubborn. It's a push. Okay, sometimes, yeah. So some shaper. Okay, what else? Especially sometimes because they don't see the bigger picture. Right? Different roles actually has got different reasons to change or not to change. So whatever this role, sometimes you need to give them certain reason why they need to change. Shapers actually are not the most difficult to change. Why? Because the key thing that they focus is results. You just need to tell them whatever you are doing now is not giving you the results you want. Right? So just focus on the results. It's easier to convince the shaper to change. It's people like people who are more inflexible, like implementer. These are people who sticks to a plan and doesn't want to change the plan, no matter what. Right? There are also people like monetary evaluator who will want to think, why must I change? Unless I'm convinced why I must change, otherwise I will not change. Right? So these are some of the things to consider if you want to impact change. So over here, not only you need to tell people why you need to change, you also need to tell people what are you going to change into. Right? Giving just a fire here is like, okay, I need to change, but then what? 我需要改变，但我要改变成什么？ If you just set fire, it's just like anyone who is whether in your studying 在念书的时候 or sometimes mid-career, knowing that, well, this company really suck. I really hate this company. There's no prospect. There's no future sometimes. But what next, I don't know.